everyone, it's Kerry here with you today. First of all, I wanted to say thank you and welcome to all of the new subscribers, and I also wanted to thank everyone, both new and old, for all the lovely messages and comments that you've left us here on YouTube and also over on our Facebook page. For those of you that are new to our channel, the Witchcraft Do You Do channel comprises of myself, Kerry, my mum, Anne, or as we affectionately call her, the Motherlode, and also my sister, Renee, who you will see from time to time. She generally comes in and causes a bit of mischief, usually with mum's videos. But we hope that you enjoy our channel, and thanks again for joining us. So today I've got some little charms here in front of me that I've created, and I recently shared these ones on Facebook and had several people ask for a tutorial. So I'm going to show you today how I've put these ones together, and also a couple of ways that you might want to use your charms in your projects. So I've selected 4 different charm shapes in front of me here to show you how I decorated mine. But if you don't have these, or you don't want to get these, you can make something similar using just a couple of punches or maybe some dies. Now, just to show you as a quick example, I've got here a couple of different sized circle punches, and I've got a piece of black cardstock and just a light piece of scrapbooking paper. So to create a framed look, so I've got a little frame here, you're going to take your black card and you're going to punch out your smallest circle or smallest shape first. So if you're using a square or whatever shape, then you'll take your larger punch and you need to eyeball inside your frame here, because you want the smaller circle to be as close to the middle as possible of the punch. And then when you punch it out, you get what would be a little frame. So then you just take your background page, or what's going to be your background. You can punch out another circle with your larger punch, and then the smaller framed piece will layer perfectly on top of the other circle because they are the same size. You've just cut a smaller circle from the inside. Then you can just take your little paper doll, cut it down to whatever size you like so that it fits in your frame, and then you would have a little charm like that. You'd need to punch a little hole in the top here, or attach a piece of string or something to the back so that you can hang it. And you may even want to cut out 2 of the little frames, and then you could make that one double-sided as well. Okay, so that's how you can do it if you don't have the chipboard pieces. So I'll work on these 2 pieces first, and I've chosen a couple of different Distress Oxide inks. I'll make this one the Rusty Hinge. So on my background piece, I'm just taking my applicator brush and working from the outside in so that I get the brightest colour on the outside, and then just blending that colour down towards the middle. And then I'll turn it round and I'll do the same on the other side. And I want the lightest spot to be in the middle of my background. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect because it is a background, and once you pop your little person on there, you're not going to see a lot of it. So once I've blended my colours top and bottom, I have this nice little area in the middle that's lighter. I'm just going to pop a little bit of background stamping onto the back of my charm. I've just got a small script stamp here and some black archival ink. And I'm just going to load my stamp with ink, but then I'm going to stamp it off first because I want it to be subtle. I don't want it to be too dark. I'm just going to stamp down my background like that. So once I've done that, I'll take one of my smallest paper dolls and just have a look, make sure that one's going to fit. Line up my top piece, and I know that I need to chop off his feet because they're hanging into this filigreed area, and I know I need to chop off his boots roughly halfway down. Sorry, little guy. snip off his feet. And he's going to fit in there. So I'll just take a little bit of glue. Just going to lay this over the top. Make sure that I'm tucking his feet just slightly underneath where my top frame is going to cover. Straighten him up a bit. Press him down. Okay, so I'm happy with that, and now I just need to colour my top frame here. So I'm going to take some archival ink because I want this to be very, very black. Now you could use paint or spray paint or whatever if you wanted to, but for the sake of the video I'm just going to ink it. And I'm using my stencil brush, and I'm actually making sure that I've got, you know, a good fair amount of ink on there. Now I want to actually lean this on here, because if I press down here I don't want to break the frame. So I'm just going to add that ink. Bring my little charm back in. Now because these are the exact same size, the frame and the base, they're very, very easy to line up. And I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, apply it to the back of the frame. You don't need to glue like every little detail because there's not really much weight involved. Then I just line that up with the one underneath. Press that down. And there's my little charm. Now on some of them I've added some flecks of gold paint. So on this one here. And then on some of them I've added a little bit of like gilding wax, just to give it a bit of a like a worn look there. So you can add that or whatever you like to add some more details, but they're really simple to put together. So this one here is a little bit different because there isn't a frame on here. So my back piece, when I layer it underneath, you're not going to see any of this in the middle, and all of our decoration is going to be sitting on the top here. So the only reason that I really want the back piece is to give me some colour underneath these filigreed ends. So for this one I'm just going to use blue print sketch. And I'm just going to add it to the ends because you're not going to see it anywhere else. So just like that. Now I want the middle piece here to still match my background. So on this one I've got rusty hinge on either end, and then it's sort of faded a bit more into the middle. So I want to have the same look on this one. So I'm going to still ink my piece from the ends with the same blueprint sketch, making sure that I fade it out towards the middle because I want it to be lighter in the middle, the same as the other one. Okay, so I think that'll do. And then I'm going to pop some stamping on in the same fashion that we did the other one. Now if I just layered that up on top, you don't really see much difference because the background and the filigree piece are the same colour. You get a little bit of a detail, but not much. So now I want to go in with the black ink again on my top piece, but this time I'm going to work from the ends like I did before and make sure that I don't go too far onto this panel because I want to keep that mostly blue, and I don't want to make it too dark because then I'll lose my focal point when I pop it on. So just adding the black to the ends. And then I've got a foam blending tool here. I'm just going to use that to do along the edges. So now when I line those up, you get a much more striking difference with the filigreed ends. So we would just go through the same process as we did for the other one and pick out a little paper doll. So I'll actually choose this little girl, and she's just slightly too long to fit on the edge here, but I don't mind leaving that one little foot hanging down. It actually looks a little bit like she's stepping off the charm, so I'm happy with that. I'm just going to glue her down. And then just applying glue to the back of the charm. Again, they'll line up perfectly because they're exactly the same size. Pressing down. And there we go. That's that little one. So for these little charms, you could do them in the same way of just colouring the background with a colour, then adding a little bit of stamping, and then colouring your frame, popping your focal point inside, and then just gluing the two together. So pretty much the same way we've done these other ones. And you can choose, you don't have to just use paper dolls. You could use any embellishments. This one's just got a little heart inside. This one's got a butterfly sticker. And this one's got a couple of little flowers and just a number. Now if you wanted to cover the background of your charm with something different like book page or napkin or scrapbook paper, I'll show you a quick way to adhere that and to get it cut perfectly to the size of your charm, so you don't need special punches or dies or anything like that. So I'm just going to tear the top of this page off roughly to where I want the paper to go onto the background here. Now I know that this frame is going to cover the edge of the charm a little bit, so I don't need it to go right to the very top. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue onto the frame, onto the background. And then getting my paper pretty close to the top, it doesn't matter if it's not right to the top, I'm just going to press that down. I can lay my frame over the top to check. Yep, so that's all going to be hidden underneath. And once that's pressed down, I'm going to take a sanding block. So I've just got this little Kaisercraft sanding block here, and if you gently rub the sides of the charm with the sanding block, it will cut the edge of the paper perfectly to size of the background. And then you don't have to worry about trying to, cut fiddly edges or get it perfect with the scissors. So now I have my background that fits perfectly. And then I would just go ahead and colour my frame again the same way that we've done these other ones. And pop in my focal point, layer it up and glue it down, and that's how I've done those charms. So there you go, they are really quite quick and easy to colour and layer up. And don't forget to have a look at your different punches and dies, and just have a look and see if there is a way that you could utilise those shapes as a frame, and then just punch out another internal shape and then turn them into charms. I will leave links down below to where you can find these in the shop. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye.